The House of Representatives will be voting later this month on whether to make Washington, D.C. the 51st state of the United States. CBS News reporting that House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer wrote in a letter to colleagues 2-3 days ago that at some point during April, the House will hold a vote. Do we make Washington, D.C. the 51st state? Now, of course, it will almost certainly pass the House, and it will almost certainly go nowhere in the Senate. Most Republicans have expressed that they are against making Washington, D.C. the 51st state. This would not be and will not be the first time that the House of Representatives votes to do this. The House already approved a D.C. statehood measure in 2020 by a vote of 232 to 180, but it did not even come to the floor of the Senate. Now, in 2020, the Senate was controlled by Republicans. Democrats now control the Senate. It's 50-50. Democrats have a majority because by controlling the White House, Kamala Harris becomes the tie-breaking 51st vote in the Senate. But most legislation needs 60 votes to go forward. This is not the type of thing making Washington, D.C. a 51st state. That's not something you can move forward on via budget reconciliation by every analysis that we've seen so far. So you need to find 10 Republicans. And it is extraordinarily unlikely. We are not aware of 10 Republicans that want to move forward with Washington, D.C. as a 51st state. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has committed to bringing it to the floor for a vote. But again, this gets back to the filibuster. And when we talked, what was it, January, maybe February, when we talked about the possible paths forward on the filibuster, one of the things that we explained was even if there's something you could pass with 50 votes, you still need 60 to end debate. This is how the filibuster works. And we talked about some filibuster reforms, making it a talking filibuster, requiring 40 senators in the Senate to keep debate going at all times. We've talked about all these things. None of these changes have been made. And so we listed D.C. statehood and Puerto Rican statehood as specific possible issues that will go nowhere unless some kind of filibuster reform is done. Well, it's happening now. Sometime this month, the House is going to vote on making Washington, D.C. a 51st state. It is likely to pass. It will then go to the Senate, and by every indication, there will not even be a vote on it. Of course, I am in favor of D.C. statehood. We've talked before about how the population of Washington, D.C. at 700,000 is larger than the population of the state of Wyoming, which has 2 senators. It's larger than the population of the state of Vermont, which has 2 senators. Those in Washington, D.C. have no voting representation in Congress, but they do have, just as a sort of factual note, Eleanor Holmes Norton is a representative for Washington, D.C. in the House, but is a non-voting delegate. So that's the latest. I've said I would love to see this issue of D.C. statehood dealt with in a serious manner by Joe Biden. The House is going to vote, and then it is likely going to stall in the Senate. And at a certain point, Democrats and Joe Biden are going to have to decide, are we committed to getting these things done to the degree that we are going to do something about the filibuster, understanding that any changes they do make to the filibuster could be a double-edged sword that comes back against them when they are not in control? I support filibuster reform. I support Washington, D.C. as a 51st state. I would love to hear from you. How should Democrats handle this? If you've been watching the show, you've probably heard me talk about how much I love my Helix mattress. Well, I was really excited to hear that Helix has launched a new company called Allform, which makes premium, customizable sofas and chairs with the same level of quality and comfort that I expect from these guys. And Allform is one of our sponsors today. They're giving you 20% off at allform.com/Pakman. They actually sent me a couch, which I put in my living room at home. It's now my favorite piece of furniture in the house. It took me just minutes to set it up. It's solidly built. It's huge. It's roomy. It has a modern minimalist design, which I love, but it's also very comfortable. Fabric is soft, clearly very high quality. It has become the focal point of my living room. Their prices are very reasonable. And when you get a new sofa or chair, You get 100 days to decide if you want to keep it. And the best part is everything comes with a lifetime warranty. Stop buying poorly made furniture. Go to customize your own all-form sofa or chair right now and get 20% off your entire order when you get there by going to allform.com/Pakman. I've also put the link right underneath this video.